thrill of travel, wild adventure and big machines on this episode of Mavericks Unlimited. Dizzying heights, breathtaking maneuvers and speeds up to 130 kilometers per hour. Speedflyers are always on the lookout for the next kick of adrenaline and expose themselves to life-threatening dangers time and time again. In addition, extreme cooking. This chef would turn blind and be burnt from the inside in his own kitchen if he didn't wear a gas mask. What produces these extreme gases? And fireballs are shooting from this man's wrists. Is it all just a trick, or in fact a risky game of playing with fire? All of this now on Mavericks Unlimited. Our journey begins in Austria, to be more precise, in Tyrol. We are searching for the world's bravest speedflyers. Edged rocks, narrow canyons. For these extreme athletes, no slope is too dangerous. This winter sport originates in the USA. Speedflying is a mixture of skiing and flying. Strong winds turn speedflying into a true adventure. Speeds up to 130 kilometers per hour mean a pure rush of adrenaline for the athletes.
Gewaltig, sensationell.
Es ist irre, also der Kick ist geil.
The higher the mountain and the steeper the course, the bigger the kick. That's the motto of these four Tyrolese speed flyers. Wolfi, Michael, Mike, and the 18-year-old Dominic.
Am liebsten fliegen wir steiles Gelände mit die kleinsten und schnellsten Schirme. Das machen wir morgen auch. Natürlich muss man schauen, wie sind die Startplätze, wie sind die Landeplätze, sodass man sicher wieder runterkommt. Wenn wir uns verletzen, bringt das kaum was. Und man muss schauen, dass keine Leitungen im Weg sind und keine Hindernisse und dass keine Geländekuppen drinnen sind, die man eventuell nicht schaffen könnte, ohne vorher zu landen.
Tomorrow, the Speedflyers want to fly off the Gleierspitze north of Innsbruck. That's what they need these special parachutes for. With just under 10 meters, this parachute is only half as big as a normal paragliding parachute. That's why it's extremely fast.
Wir haben da bei den Öffnungen, wo die Luft reinfährt, wo sich das Flügelprofil aufbläst, dann, damit das Teil überhaupt fliegt, Versteifungen. Und wenn dann der Zug kommt, über die Reißer, das sind die Leinen, die da ganz vorne angemacht sind, dann zieht man die Öffnungen auf und der Schirm füllt sich sofort mit Luft. Der Schirm kommt sofort über einen und man kann praktisch so schnell lostigern, wie man kann, damit man so schnell wie möglich abhebt.
The Speedflyers call a drawn-out landing at a very high speed, swooping. A rush of adrenaline is guaranteed.
Es gibt im Fallschirmspringen auch einige Disziplinen und wir kommen vom Swoopen. Da geht es darum, es gibt leider erst seit kurzem so schnelle Swoopschirme und uns flasht eigentlich am meisten der Speed, dieser Ground Rush nennt man das auch. Man kommt mit viel Speed rein, knattert auf den Boden zu und kann dann die Flugbahn insofern verändern, dass man ewig lang parallel über den Boden dahin schießt, das nennt man Swoopen.
With a vertical nosedive, the swoopers even reach top speeds of more than 180 kilometers per hour. The steeper the rocks, the more attractive they are for these four Tyrolese. Their motto? Only a flight from the very top is truly cool. In these heights, there are no mountain lifts. Only true ski pros can compete at speed flying. No problem for Wolfi and his friends. They've been skiing since they were 3 years old. And this is how it works. At around 80 kilometers per hour, the Speedflyer takes off. He then directly glides towards the rocks. Spectacular maneuvers and ski slopes you only get to see when you're speed flying.
Die Optik, die Augenblicke, die wir erhaschen, wenn wir da runterfliegen, sage ich einmal, da sieht man Bilder, das kriegt ein normaler Mensch nicht so, oder hat nicht die Gelegenheit, die Welt aus der Perspektive zu sehen.
A sight to get you hooked on.
Du kannst einfach super frei, schwebend, fliegend das Gelände abfliegen. Du sitzt nicht in einer Flugzeugkanzel drinnen, du spürst den Wind, du spürst die Geschwindigkeit, du hörst die Geschwindigkeit. Es ist schwer zu erklären, der Kick ist irre. Also.
And it's extremely dangerous. Time and time again, sport associations warn people to be careful when speed flying. Because In classical parachute jumping, more than half the accidents happen during landing. The 4-minute continuous landing process at speed flying raises the risk of an accident many times over. Our Tyrolese Speedflyers had to abandon their original plan for the day. The reason? The Gleierspitze is covered in fog. The alternative is another slope in neighbouring Zillertal. Thanks to the gondola lift, the men are spared an energy-sapping and time-consuming climb today.
Ja, leider ist den Hang, was wir uns gestern angeschaut haben, schlechtes Wetter. So haben wir jetzt Gott sei Dank bei uns in Tirol mehr Möglichkeiten, mehr Skigebiete und haben da im Ziller jetzt einen Platz gefunden, wo wir fliegen können. Wir haben hier 2 verschiedene Lines, oben eine ganz lässige mit Felsen und Tiefschnee abseits der Pisten und weiter herunten dann, da sieht man hinter uns über die Wälder, also über die Bäume drüber. Also es sind relativ lässige Spots, gut zu filmen. Ja, Wetter ist super, also es wird heute perfekt. Das Tag werden Wind schaut auch lässig aus, also genial, das wird perfekt.
Normally the 4 Speedflyers would look at the route on the computer in advance, but there's no time for that today. A risky business.
Alle Fallschirmspringer, die ich kenne, sind alle ein bisschen verrückt auf ihre eigene Art und Weise. Das heißt nicht, dass sie Wahnsinnige sind oder so, aber alle ein bisschen eigen und alle ein bisschen schräg drauf und eigener Schlag Menschen. Das ist cool.
All the slopes are covered with a thick layer of fresh snow. There is the risk of an avalanche, especially on the steep, deep snow off-piste slopes. The mountain guide has turned on his avalanche detector, a precautional measure which may save lives in the case of an emergency.
Wenn jetzt zum Beispiel irgendwas schief geht und die landen in dem Hang drin, oder? Und der Hang geht, dann sind sie unter der Lawine und dann brauchen sie das.
The wind is picking up. There might be gusts of wind on the mountain slopes, which would make the steering of the parachute more difficult. The mountain station lies at 2,500 meters above sea level, right at the top of a mountain called Wangel.
Ich würde sagen, das ist schon mal ein perfekter Startplatz, oder?
Ja,
Der Wind kommt leicht aus der Richtung,
ja,
dass wir starten so rüber, oder? Ja, beim ersten Flug eher ein bisschen höher mal anschauen und dann ab in die Rinnen.
Rock'n'Roll.
Jawohl, sehr gut.
These 4 Tyrolese have never flown this extremely steep slope. There are many big rock ledges awaiting them.
Also Angst ist es keine, es ist Vorfreude. Speziell beim Start ist einfach große Vorfreude. Im Start selber ist es Konzentration, man konzentriert sich genau auf das, was man macht. Weil jeder kleine Fehler kann zum Sturz führen, oder?
The wind is blowing from underneath. That's good for the takeoff. Immediately the parachute's compartments fill up with air. And off they go. Gliding about 5 meters above the ground, they are exploring the terrain. The flight distance to the middle station is about 1,200 meters. Mike, the one with the green parachute, is looking for a suitable place to land on the flat terrain. Now of all times, a snowboarder crosses his path. This can get very dangerous.
Weg da! Weg! Weg! Verpiss dich!
The landing just about goes well this time. The boys will have to find a better landing spot next time. Luckily, the 4 of them are very familiar with the mountains.
In der Jugend waren wir oft am Berg als kleine Kinder mit unseren Eltern und haben dadurch vielleicht ein bisschen die Lust verloren. Wir waren recht faul, haben uns auch nur mit den Liften raufkutschieren lassen und sind halt mit den Schienen des Snowboards runtergefahren. Und durch diese Sportart ist bei uns auch wieder ein bisschen mehr die Liebe zu den Bergen gestiegen.
Now things are getting serious. High visibility. The first jump of the day. Sky jumpers reach up to 100 kilometers per hour and are up in the air for just a few seconds. The speed-flying athletes with their small parachutes reach speeds of up to 130 kilometers per hour. Their flight lasts 3 to 4 minutes.
Das ist einfach ein irre Feeling. Man fährt mit Ski los und irgendwann einmal ist es so schnell, dass man sich denkt, Scheiße, ich kann nicht mehr fahren, ich hebe Gott sei Dank ab und sobald ich in der Luft bin, fühlt man sich eigentlich wieder sicher. Und dann, wenn man dieses sichere Gefühl wieder hat, tastet man sich wieder so knapp wie möglich zum Boden hin und genießt einfach das Fliegen. Ich sage, es ist wie ein Vogel im Sturzflug.
The Speedflyers can steer their sails into any direction by pulling the cords. A Speedflyer must not make even the slightest mistake. A crash in the rocky terrain would be life-threatening. But it's precisely the risk that gives the athletes that special kick. They've already jumped 5 times today.
Es macht auf jeden Fall süchtig. Ich sage einmal, es gibt auch andere feine Sachen, was süchtig machen. Aber im Moment, wenn ich am Berg bin und der Schnee ist nicht so super, dann denke ich eigentlich nur, also dann gibt es nur Fliegen.
800 meters further down, the tree line. An intermediate landing would be much too risky in this terrain. The 3-kilometer flight takes them straight down into the valley. Shortly before the landing from a height of 100 meters, Michael pulls the front cords. The sail turns forward, almost vertical to the ground. A last swoop. They all land safely.
Unglaublich, als letzter Flug des Tages. Sehr fein, sehr fein.
Perfekt, super Wetter. Leider sind im Winter die Tage kurz. Das ist der einzige Nachteil, man muss früh in der Früh raus. Aber dann geht's schon.
The Tyrolese Speedflyers. Real men with an addiction to the ultimate rush of adrenaline in the mountains. Our journey takes us to Ruskington in England. Because we're searching for the man in this picture. He is supposed to live and work 100 kilometers north of London. At this absolutely inconspicuous restaurant. Through the window, we do see a man wearing a gas mask, just like in the photograph. What is he doing there? Is he fabricating drugs? We want to find out.
Hi, can I help you?
Obviously you are this man, right?
That's right, that's me, yes. So we need to actually go outside if that's okay, yeah?
Okay.
It could be bad for you, right? You could go blind when you're cooking here, and if you're inhaling it, you could burn your insides. So it's safe to go outside if that's okay.
We are not allowed to enter the kitchen without a gas mask. The chef sees to our equipment. But why?
To make sure we're safe. To put the gas mask on, make sure you put the nozzle on the top of your nostril part. Put his goggles on as well.
Mohammed will only cook for us if we wear masks and goggles. What exactly is he cooking? What could be that dangerous? It's a curry, a very special one. This curry consists only of chilies in every variation. Arranged in ascending order according to their hotness, they are the reason for the gas masks.
In we started the widower, we had the Infinity Chili, which is 1.3 million Scovilles. Then we've added onto that the Moraga Scott, which is 1.6 million Scovilles. And to make it even worse, we've gone for the Katie, which is nearly a 2 million Scoville rating on there, which is weapons grade.
Altogether, more than 6 million Scoville. But what does that actually mean? The number of Scoville indicates how many drops of water are needed to neutralize 1 drop of the hotness. A pepper contains a bland 0 Scoville. Pure capsaicin reaches an unbelievable 15 million Scoville. Mohammed is throwing the chilies into the pan, wearing his gas mask. We still think this is quite exaggerated. But wait. When he pours water into it and the curry starts steaming, it becomes unbearable all of a sudden. Our cameraman has to leave the kitchen in spite of the mask. And Mohammed is having trouble as well.
My eyes are actually burning. I can feel it coming through down here. But this is why we wear the mask, because once we're inhaling it, it's going straight into our lungs. So it's like taking in pepper spray, tear gas, you know, what the riot police use inside us, so we don't want that. So hence we have to make sure, you know, we do that.
Mohammed owns several normal Indian restaurants, but this restaurant, with its extremely spicy dishes, is his great passion. Spice fans from all over the world come here to face up to the ultimate challenge and try his food.
This is the world's hottest curry, the Widower.
Arranged, it looks almost yummy, but who would voluntarily eat something like this?
It's a dish that people try as a challenge. It is for the chili heads in particular. I have tried this many a times, but sadly I'm getting to an age where I'm probably doing 20, 30 a week, so I've had to almost totally stop this. But for yourself, as is your first dish, I think you'll be okay with that.
So once is okay, but nevertheless, somehow no one in the kitchen seems to be willing to try.
Okay, you ready to try some of this?
Yes.
Are you sure? Do you want to ring anybody? Say anything to them that you love them? What do you think?
It's evolving, it's growing. Oh my god. But I think I would not I wouldn't be able to do this. Oh my god.
The tears in your eyes, you're getting emotional.
Our cameraman definitely needs a break.
Die Kamera mal kurz ab.
Ja.
Alter.
But how does the capsaicin work? Plants which contain capsaicin taste hot, but only for mammals, not for birds. They eat them without difficulty and spread the seed in a greater radius than mammals ever could. Mohammed can only cook when there are no guests around because of the hotness in the air. The first guests are about to arrive. They have pre-ordered a very special burger. This patty is flavored by an extract of the hottest chili, the Carolina Reaper chili. This burger contains more than 10 million Scoville. These two guys have an ongoing private bet. They want to master the killer burger, but before they start, they must sign a legal declaration.
Okay, this is the world's hottest burger, known as the Atomic Kick-Ass Burger.
This burger is almost twice as hot as the curry. It's Mark's turn first. The sauce makes its dent after just 2 bites.
Man, that's hurting. Oh no, I can't eat that.
Another mouthful?
No,
No?
no, sorry.
He surrenders. Please quench. And then this happens.
That sting. Ah, it's stinging my eye.
The effect was eye-popping. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it, except wait.
At first, but the taste of it is really nice. The initial taste is so nice. But then just the heat, it just hits you.
He gives up. Next one, please.
For the first mouthful, it tastes alright.
But Scott's body immediately reacts too. He is shaking and crying. Our body reacts to hotness similar as to pain. The result? A rise of adrenaline, palpitations. Worst case scenario, a collapse. Nevertheless, Scott stuffs in the whole burger.
I'm shocked and speechless actually, so I'm not going to say anything on this one.
Well, that definitely has some kick to it, doesn't it?
Lives up to his name.
Yeah. There's one moment there when I tried to speak. It was not happening.
Scott is rewarded with a certificate for mastering the hottest burger on the planet. The chef with the gas mask, absolutely crazy, but clever at business, this Englishman. From Ruskington, we travel to the east coast of the USA, to New Hampshire. Because an American with a very special talent is supposed to live here, somewhere in the midst of the forest. On the internet, he has become known as Firehand. But what's it all about?
Hey man, good to see you. See you. Come on in. Thank you.
His name is Adam Wilbur. His nickname is the Fire Devil. His house looks quite ordinary at first. But what is it with the fire? We want to find out by watching a video.
This is actually the first time we filmed in Vegas. We're kind of, you know, country folk, so we enjoy it out here. The most creative things I come up with are generally alone in my office, just sitting there. And if there's a lot of distractions, it makes it tough.
Adam is a magician. He works on new tricks every day. And we can see straight away that he's quick with his hands. But too many card tricks get boring after a while. And that's why Adam has started working on a brand new trick for some time now.
So this is Pyro. This is sort of my baby. This is about 2 years of my life. It is a device that allows the user to strap it on their wrist like a watch and, from remote, launch fireballs.
So that's what it's about. Adam shoots fireballs with this little device. Adam now loads his pyro for us with so-called gun cotton.
So the cotton is a chemically treated cotton called flash cotton. Magicians have been using it for years, and the paper is the same. It's a chemically treated paper that burns extremely fast and disappears into nothing. So as you can see, if I light it, and it goes into nothing. So those are what are used to make the fireball come out.
The pyro has 4 bullet chambers, which can be fired off in a row. We want to take a look at it in practice now, in Adam's cellar.
You can hold your hand in one of 2 ways. This way, directly up and down, or this way. You want to make sure your hand is clearly out of the way of the barrels, so you would never fire like this. I do it more comfortably like so. So I'm going to turn the remote on. Once the light goes off, it's good to go. Just by clicking, I'll launch the first barrel, and it looks like this.
The paper bullet burns in about just under a second. 4 shots per load. Everything goes really fast. In our super slow motion, you can see what really happens. By now, Adam's invention is produced commercially. His company delivers worldwide, not only to magicians. Purchasing price, around $160. But how dangerous is playing with fire? Adam is convinced nothing can happen, and he wants to prove it to us.
A lot of people ask what happens if you light your curtains on fire. You really, I mean, you could, you shouldn't shoot it at curtains, but it bounced off of it. You'll see it shot, hit the curtain, and sort of fizzled out to the ground. Didn't leave any marks on the curtain. There's no chars.
But maybe the curtains were simply too thick. What happens if you accidentally shoot very thin, flammable materials, commonly found in any home?
We'll start with the scarf. This is my wife's scarf. It's a nice thin material. You know, again, if it does anything, it'll probably char it, but let's see what happens if you shoot pyro directly into it.
The shot at the scarf evokes a lot of sparks and smoke. Does the fireball burn long enough to cause permanent damage?
Well, so at first it did look like it charred it a little bit, but to be honest, I can't find it anywhere. I think it was just the smoke from the paper.
The ultimate test. A bale of thin tissues. What's going to happen?
Now, as you can see, it does have a little char. You would never do this. You would never shoot it directly into something flammable. It chars it a little bit, but that's it. It's not going to ignite it. It's not going to catch it on fire.
Adam ups the stakes even more. A shot at close range. It does flare. The fireball had enough time to burn.
I'm not gonna lie, that got my eyes nice and wide for sure. Tissue paper is probably the most flammable, especially at a distance of this close. It would be like taking a match and dropping it on there. It's going to catch on fire, So
it is important to obey Adam's safety instructions. Ever since the magician has included pyro in his repertoire, the bookings for his magic shows have multiplied. We accompany him to a gig at a private party. He charges $1,000 for such an evening.
Pretty amazing. I've never seen anything like this.
Now, even the audience is allowed to take a turn, because Adam gladly reveals his fire trick. Most important rule, pyro should be treated like firecrackers. Never aim at yourself, nor at other people. And then, the magic happens. Mavericks Unlimited.